region. Talks by real Southeast Asian students sharing thoughts on the real issues. I am Jessica, and with me are 9 awesome minds who have thoughts and feelings about what's happening in our region. So today, we're diving into something heavy, heartbreaking, and important. The Rohingya crisis in Myanmar.
The Rohingyas are a Muslim minority who reside in Myanmar. They have stayed here for several generations and account for 7% of Myanmar's population. However, the 1982 citizenship law of Myanmar prohibits Rohingyas from being citizens. This has made nearly 1 million Rohingyas stateless. They have been denied basic human rights. They have no access to education and medicines. Further, Rohingyas are not allowed to move freely and are deprived of the right to marriage unless they obtain permission. Reports suggest that there are 3 reasons behind the persecution of Rohingyas. 1. Rohingyas supported the British during the colonialization of Myanmar. 2. There are religious tensions between Buddhists and Muslims. 3. Categorization of Rohingyas as illegal immigrants. Recent violence in Myanmar has displaced nearly 140,000 Rohingyas. They now live in inhuman conditions and are prone to abuse. None of the neighboring countries such as Bangladesh or Thailand are willing to support or accept them. Despite the end of the military rule in Myanmar, the democratic government has taken no steps to resolve this issue. On the contrary, the government has often sponsored such acts. The Rohingyas are mistreated and exploited by the army. The recent concluded population census did not even mention Rohingyas as a prevalent group in Myanmar. It is pertinent to mention that the international community has come together to resolve this issue. The United Nations declared Rohingyas as the most persecuted minority in the world and has taken efforts to halt violence. We hope that these positive actions will continue and soon resolve this crisis. Thank you so much for listening. To watch more of such videos, stay tuned with Lopet. Please share this video amongst your friends.
Going on, and more importantly, what can ASEAN do about it? Prepare a short video clip, so let's watch it together.
A large crowd of Indonesian students stormed the convention center housing hundreds of Rohingya refugees from Myanmar in the city of Banda Aceh on Wednesday, demanding they be deported. The footage showed students, many wearing green jackets, run into the building's large basement space where crowds of Rohingya men, women and children were seated on the floor and crying in fear. The Rohingya were then led out by the authorities, some carrying their belongings in plastic sacks and taken to trucks to transport them to alternative shelter as the protesters looked on. Rohingya refugees have experienced increasing hostility and rejection in Indonesia as locals grow frustrated at the numbers of boats arriving with the ethnic minority who face persecution in Myanmar.
Mereka tuh ngelakuin hal-hal yang nggak masuk akal gitu. Sering misalnya seperti kayak mogok makan minta tempat yang lain. Seharusnya mereka karena tidak datang aja, mereka di sini nggak diundang kayak gitu. Tapi kayak ngerasa ini tuh negara mereka. Kayak merasa seperti nggak patut sih.
Kembali lagi, jika imigran etnis Rohingya tidak mampu dideportasi di luar Aceh, maka kami pastikan dan saya yakinkan mahasiswa akan hadir berlipat ganda dalam melawan kebijakan pemerintah.
And now let's hear from one of our guests.
Okay, so big picture. The Rohingya are Muslim ethnic minorities in Myanmar. For years, they have been treated as illegal immigrants even though they have lived there for generations.
They were denied citizenship in 1982. That's over 40 years of statelessness. Then in 2017, shocks mass violence. Over 700,000 had to flee to Bangladesh.
If we look at the screen, we have here a timeline from 1982 to the present day.
And they are still there in camps. No stable food, healthcare, or education. It's like time has stopped for them.
But let's be honest. Asian has mostly watched issued statements, but actions, not enough.
Now let's hear about ASEAN dilemma.
Let's talk about the big barrier, which is the non-interference. It's one of the core principles of ASEAN, which is you do your own inside your country.
But what if what's happening inside one country spill over borders? Refugees, violence, human rights abuses? We have here a map of Southeast Asia with arrows showing refugee spillover from Myanmar to Bangladesh, Malaysia, and Thailand.
This isn't just the Myanmar's problem. It also affects Bangladesh, Thailand, Malaysia, and the region as a whole.
Yeah, maybe it's time ASEAN updated that principles. Not to get rid of it, but to evolve it into constructive engagement. Help without attacking.
Okay, so what's the solution? What can ASEAN actually do without stepping on Myanmar's toes?
We came up with something simple and realistic. A humanitarian corridor. A safe, neutral path for sending care. Food, medicine, and trauma care without politics.
Here we see a visual representation of humanitarian support flowing into Myanmar through an ASEAN coordinated corridor. The arrows moving from ASEAN to Myanmar emphasize the direction of this emergency response, showcasing a unified regional effort to provide urgent relief.
ASEAN leads it, not the West. That way, Myanmar might actually allow it, like they did in 2008, the cyclone Nargis.
Imagine the doctors from the Thailand, nurses from the Philippines, and counselors for the Indonesia, all helping Rohingya communities. It's regional teamwork.
We don't just drop supplies. We ask Rohingya what they need. Include them in the planning.
Funding, easy. Asian countries contribute on how much they can afford. Everyone gives, nobody's left out.
And we make sure that it's not just for one time. And this will become part of ASEAN's emergency response, like a permanent humanitarian wing.
We also have here an image that illustrates a step-by-step overview of how ASEAN countries coordinate humanitarian aid during a crisis. Together, these steps show how ASEAN responds swiftly and cooperatively in times of crisis. While the help's going in, ASEAN uses diplomacy, quiet talks, cultural exchange, sanctions if needed, but smart ones.
Maybe freeze assets of generals or stop them from attending ASEAN events, not aggressive but firm.
And imagine peace-building activities like youth exchanges, interfaith forums, and online campaigns led by ASEAN students like us. Change doesn't have to be loud. It can start with listening, showing up, and making sure no one feels visible.
Another solution is regional and international cooperation. Simply means countries in the same area like Southeast Asia and the global community working together to solve the Rohingya crisis. Since the problem affects many countries, not just the Myanmar, cooperation is necessary to help refugees and find long-term solutions. The Rohingya have fled to several countries including Bangladesh, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. No single country can handle all the refugees alone. Working together makes it easier to share resources, information, and responsibilities. And also through regional organizations, groups like ASEAN can help coordinate, make policies, and encourage peaceful solutions. However, ASEAN often avoids interfering in member countries' internal affairs, which makes the action very difficult. Also, through joint responses, countries can agree on shared plans like allowing refugees to land safely, providing temporary shelter, and stopping human trafficking. For example, Indonesia and Malaysia once agreed to let Rohingya refugees to land temporarily after international pressure. Also, resettlements in some countries outside the region like Australia, Japan, or Canada can accept Rohingya refugees to permanent resettlement, sharing the responsibility. And lastly, through legal and policy support. Countries can work together to create fair laws for refugees to protect their rights and find long-term solutions such as allowing them to work or go to school in host countries. In short, regional and international cooperation means countries working together to help the Rohingya, share the burden, and find solutions that no single country can achieve alone.
Before we wrap, let's share one dream for ASEAN in 5 seconds. Go!
ASEAN where no one is forgotten.
People before politics.
A stronger, softer ASEAN.
Education, not just aid.
Listening over lecturing. Solutions rooted in Southeast Asia.
Kindness in policy.
Hope for every refugee. Peace with action.
One couch that dared to care. Still with us, thank you. You don't have to be a diplomat to make change. You can be a teacher, a student, a neighbor, so speak up and show up. This has been One Couch, One Region! Our 9 awesome
Ay, di siya wala nakita.
Okay, basta makita ang kanang kuan or siguro kay Adam Rita. Basta makita ka sa link na dali. Sige, sulod din mo sa wash. Okay, together.
700 Filipinos.
It's time to stop on that.
Human rights abuses.
Region as a whole.
Safer, mali. A safer.
Ay, maura ta? Ay, an ASEAN where no one is forgotten.
Listening over lecturing.
Ang
Uy, yung butang natin. Affects many countries. Temporarily. Magulay na to. No single. Gusto ko na akong